My son's bride told me, "You don't belong here," so I stopped the wedding myself. I never thought I'd live to see the day my own son would get married. For years, I dreamed of it, the music, the laughter, the sight of him standing proudly as a man. When Chaik was little, I used to imagine the kind of woman he'd marry. Someone kind, someone who would look at him the way I once looked at his father before life took him away from me. But dreams don't always come true the way we expect them to. The wedding invitation didn't come from my son. It came from his friend, who dropped it off at my shop one hot afternoon. "Mama Chaik, congratulations, oh," he said, handing me the cream-colored envelope with gold writing. For a moment, I just stared at it. My hands trembled slightly as I opened it. "You are cordially invited to the wedding ceremony of Chaik and Kechi." I smiled, even though the words looked strange. My son, my only child, was finally becoming a husband. But a small part of me wondered why he hadn't brought it himself. Maybe he was just busy, I told myself. Big weddings can make people forget little details. I closed my shop early that day, bought a small bottle of malt, and toasted quietly to myself. "To my son's happiness," I whispered. That night, I barely slept. My heart was full, but there was something sitting quietly at the edge of my joy, a feeling I didn't have a name for yet. The next morning, I decided to visit him. I wore my best wrapper and tied my headscarf neatly. When I reached his new apartment, the one he moved into after getting his promotion, I saw a shiny white car parked outside. I hesitated for a second, smoothed my scarf, and knocked. It was the bride, Nkechi, who opened the door. She was even more beautiful than in the pictures Chaik had shown me. Tall, fair, with soft makeup and long nails painted wine red. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. "Good morning, Ma," she said politely, stepping aside. I entered, clutching the small basket of fruits I had brought. "I came to greet you people," I said warmly. "I just received the invitation." She nodded. "Yes, we sent them out last week." She didn't say he sent it. She said we. Something about the way she said it made me feel like an outsider in my own child's life. But I kept smiling. I looked around the sitting room, modern furniture, white curtains, everything neat. My son had done well for himself. Chaik came out from the bedroom, adjusting his shirt. "Mama," he said, grinning, "you should have called first." I laughed lightly. Since when do mothers need appointments to visit their children? He scratched his head. No, I didn't mean it like that. I just... Nkechi cut in quickly. "Chaik, have you given the caterer the final number? We need exact figures for the VIP seating." He nodded and went to pick his phone. I stood there, smiling awkwardly, pretending to look at the flower vase. She turned to me, still smiling. "You know, Mama, the wedding is going to be very classy. We've invited important people, politicians, business owners, even my father's friends from the oil company. It's going to be huge." I nodded, trying to keep up with her tone. "Ah, that's good, my daughter. May God bless your union." She smiled again, but this time it was tight. "We just want everything to look perfect. You know, image matters. The guests coming are very particular about appearances." Something about the way she said appearances made my heart shift. I wasn't sure if it was a warning or just pride. I looked down at my old sandals and smiled faintly. "Don't worry, everything will be fine," I said softly. When I was leaving, Chaik walked me to the door. "Mama, I'll come and see you this weekend," he said quickly, like he was rushing. I nodded. "All right, my son. I'll cook your favorite soup." I stepped out into the sun, but somehow, it didn't feel as bright as before. A few days later, I went to the tailor's market to buy lace material for the wedding. I wanted something elegant, but modest. I found a soft pink one with tiny golden stones, not too flashy, but still beautiful. I imagined walking into the church, proud, watching my son at the altar. The thought made me smile again. But that evening, As I was packing the lace into a nylon bag, my neighbor Efima walked in. "Mama Chaik, I just came from the salon where the bride's girls were making their hair," she said, her voice a mix of gossip and pity. "I overheard them saying you're not sitting at the family front row, that it's for important guests only." I blinked. "Not sitting where?" She sighed. "Don't take it to heart, oh, but I heard the bride saying something like, 'We'll keep Mama somewhere comfortable at the back.'" I tried to laugh it off, but it came out weak. "Ah, maybe she meant near the fans. You know, the front can be hot." Efima shrugged. "Maybe. Just pray it's not what I think." That night, I sat outside my small house, staring at the moon. I thought about how far we'd come, from those nights we couldn't afford kerosene, to now, when my son was about to marry into wealth. I remembered the day I sold my wedding ring to pay his final school fees. At least one of us will wear a ring again, I had told myself. Maybe this was how it was meant to be, him rising higher than me. But still, a mother deserves a place at her son's side. I didn't want luxury or attention. I just wanted to be there, proud. The next morning, I went to deliver some clothes to a customer near the wedding hall. As I walked past a group of young women, I heard familiar laughter. It was Nkechi's voice. She was with her friends, standing near a boutique. I stopped behind a pillar, not wanting to interrupt. Then one of them said, "So, your mother-in-law, she's coming to the wedding, right?" Nkechi laughed softly. "She insists on coming, but we'll handle it. She's sweet, but she doesn't fit our kind of wedding." The words hit me like cold water. She doesn't fit our kind of wedding. I felt something twist inside me. My heart began to pound, not from anger yet, but from realization. So that was what she saw when she looked at me. Not a mother, not family, but someone to be hidden away. I stood there quietly until they left. Then I walked back home, my feet heavy. I sat in my sewing chair for a long time, my hands resting on fabric I didn't feel like touching. The sun had started to set when I whispered to myself, maybe I don't fit her kind of wedding, but I fit my son's life, and I will be there. I didn't know how much those words would mean later. I didn't know they would be tested in a way I could never have imagined. But that day, as I folded my lace and polished my shoes, I promised myself one thing. No one would stop me from seeing my son say his vows. Not even the bride who thought I didn't belong. The morning of the wedding came faster than I expected. I woke up before dawn, the sky still dark, and sat on my bed for a long time staring at the lace dress folded neatly on my table. My hands trembled as I picked it up. It wasn't just cloth. It was hope, pride, and a bit of fear stitched together. I wanted everything to go smoothly. I wanted to see my son smile, to feel like I had done something right in this life. After all, I raised him alone, through sickness and hunger, and now he was about to start a family of his own. I bathed, rubbed a little powder on my face, tied my headscarf carefully, and wore the pink lace. When I looked in the mirror, I whispered, "You're beautiful enough, Mama Chaik." By 8 a.m., the village was alive with noise. Cars were moving in and out of the street. Music was playing faintly from the church compound, and the smell of food filled the air. I held my small handbag close, tucked the wedding card inside, and made my way to the venue. When I got there, my heart nearly stopped. The hall was like something out of a magazine. Flowers, chandeliers, white ribbons, and gold chairs everywhere. Guests in expensive clothes were taking pictures and laughing. For a moment, I stood outside, taking it all in, pride swelling in my chest. My son did this, I thought. He's made it. I walked toward the entrance where 2 ushers stood with clipboards. I smiled politely and handed them my card. One of them scanned it quickly, then frowned. "Please, what's your name, Ma?" "Mama Chaik," I said softly, still smiling. She flipped through her list and then looked up again. "Sorry, Ma, your name isn't on the guest list." I blinked. "What do you mean? I'm the groom's mother." She hesitated. "Let me confirm." She called another usher, whispered something, and then both of them looked uncomfortable. "Please, Ma, can you wait outside for a minute?" Guests were walking past me, the perfumes filling the air, their eyes glancing at me curiously. I could feel the heat rising to my face. I took a deep breath and stepped aside, clutching my bag tighter. Just then, I saw Nkechi approaching from the other side of the hall. She was radiant. Her white gown sparkled under the sunlight, her veil flowing behind her like mist. Everyone stared at her with admiration. When she saw me, her smile faltered slightly. She whispered something to her bridesmaid before walking over. "Good morning, Mama," she said with that polite tone that sounded sweet but distant. "Is everything okay?" I tried to steady my voice. "The ushers said my name isn't on the list. Maybe there's a mistake." She looked at them and then back at me. Her lips curled slightly, the kind of smile that hides sharpness. "No mistake, Mama. It's just, the front section is for special guests and family of high profile. You understand. But don't worry, we've made arrangements for you somewhere comfortable." My throat went dry. "Somewhere comfortable?" I repeated. She nodded, still smiling. "Yes, at the back. It's shaded and has good ventilation. You'll be fine there." I stared at her, searching her face for a hint of kindness, something human. But what I saw instead was cold calculation wrapped in elegance. And then she said it, the words that burned into me forever. "Mama, please don't take this the wrong way, but you don't belong here." For a second, everything went silent. The laughter, the music, the rustling of clothes. It all faded. I just stood there, looking at her. My mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. The ushers avoided my eyes. A few guests nearby stopped and stared. I saw Chaik at the other end of the hall, talking to the best man. I wanted to call him, to tell him what she said, but my voice wouldn't come. My chest tightened, and I could hear my heartbeat loud in my ears. Finally, I managed to whisper, "What did you say?" She sighed softly as if speaking to a child. "Mama, please, don't make a scene. Today is my wedding day. I'll have someone take you to a seat where you'll be comfortable." Her words sliced through me like a blade. Before I could answer, she turned away and walked back toward the church entrance, her gown swaying gracefully as if nothing had happened. I felt eyes on me, curious, pitying, judgmental eyes. I wanted the ground to open and swallow me. My legs felt weak, but I forced myself to stand straight. My son still hadn't seen me. I turned away quickly, walking out to the main entrance, tears stinging my eyes. Outside, the air was hot and dry. I stood near one of the pillars at the side of the church compound, hidden from view. I didn't want anyone to see me cry. I pressed a hand to my chest and whispered. She said I don't belong here. Me, the one who carried him for 9 months. I watched from behind the pillar as cars kept arriving, dropping off more guests. The music started, and I could hear the laughter and cheers. I wiped my face, refusing to leave. My feet wouldn't move anyway. This was my son's wedding. No one was going to chase me away from it, not even his bride. So I stood there silently, listening, watching the celebration I was no longer part of. After a while, I saw Chaik come out of the church, looking around. For a moment, I thought he was searching for me, but then he smiled at someone behind him, Nkechi, and placed his hand on her back gently. They both laughed as the photographer took pictures. My heart sank deeper. I couldn't remember the last time he'd laughed like that with me. I stayed hidden for a long time, my back against the wall, my eyes following them. That was when I heard voices from the other side of the wall. It was Nkechi and her friends again. "Did you see her face when I said it?" One of them giggled. "You're wicked," another replied. Nkechi laughed softly. "Please, I can't have my wedding looking like some market gathering. My husband's mother dresses like she came from another century. I told her nicely to stay out of the way. She'll be fine." They laughed again, their voices echoing in my ears. I clenched my fists tightly, trying to hold myself together. My tears had dried up, replaced by something else. A quiet, cold strength I didn't know I still had. I whispered to myself, let her laugh, let her mock me, but she'll remember today in ways she won't forget. The music inside the church grew louder as the ceremony began. I looked toward the entrance one last time, then moved slowly toward the back door, where I could still see them through the window. My hands trembled slightly, not from weakness, but from something rising inside me, something between pain and resolve. I had come here only to witness my son's happiness, but after what I heard and saw, I realized something. This wasn't a wedding of love. It was a wedding of pride. And somehow, I knew it wasn't going to end the way they planned. I didn't know how yet, but my heart whispered one thing clearly. A mother might be silent, but she is never powerless. I stood behind that church wall, hidden from everyone, the sound of drums and laughter echoing around me like noise from another world. The ceremony had started, but I couldn't make myself go inside. I could hear the pastor's voice faintly through the speakers, blessing their union, and the guests cheering at every line. It should have been the happiest day of my life, but all I felt was a sharp emptiness sitting in my chest. I wanted to walk away, but something inside me wouldn't move. It was like my feet had planted themselves to that spot, refusing to give up on the boy I raised with my own hands. I watched through the small window by the side of the hall. I could see the white gown moving, the groom standing tall beside her, both of them smiling for the cameras. Chaik looked so proud, but I could tell that his eyes weren't really seeing me. Maybe he had forgotten I even came. The sun climbed higher, and the heat made my lace cling to my skin, but I stayed there quietly. A few minutes later, I noticed the ushers and some bridesmaids rushing in and out of the back room. My curiosity got the better of me, so I moved closer, careful not to be seen. I leaned slightly toward the open window at the back of the bride's waiting room, and that was when I heard it. Laughter. Familiar laughter. Nkechi's voice again, mixed with her friends. After today, we'll finally move to Abuja, one of them said, the sound of a bottle cap popping open. Nkechi laughed softly. Yes, so, I can't wait. Once the honeymoon is over, Chaik will sell that old house of his mother's and we'll relocate. Abuja is where we belong. My heart skipped. Sell my house? Another voice joined in. You're lucky, girl. His mother is harmless. She won't even fight you. Nkechi's tone turned sharp. That woman doesn't scare me. She's too simple to understand this new life. I told him we can't keep visiting her every weekend. It's embarrassing. Her area doesn't even have proper roads. I froze. I could barely breathe. I had worked all my life for that house. The same house where I stayed up late sewing clothes by candlelight. The same one where I raised him after his father died. Every nail, every wall in that house had a story. And now she was planning to take it away, to erase me completely from his life. My eyes burned as I gripped the wall. I remembered the night Chaik had malaria so bad I thought he would die. I stayed by his side, fanning him all night, praying to God not to take him from me. I remembered carrying heavy bags of cassava just to pay his school fees. And this woman, this stranger, was now calling all that embarrassing. I pressed my palm to my chest, trying to calm my racing heart. One of her friends giggled. I heard the mothers not even inside the church. Did you really tell her she doesn't belong here? Nkechi chuckled. Of course. Did you see her dress? That pink lace looked like something from the 1980s. I couldn't let her sit in the front with all my father's guests. Please, this is my day. I don't want her ruining my pictures. The room erupted in laughter. I felt my hands shaking, but this time it wasn't sadness anymore. It was something else. It was fire. I turned away from the window and leaned against the pillar, closing my eyes. I could feel my heart beating hard, but a strange calmness began to take over. The same calmness I felt years ago when people mocked me for being a widow, when I chose to keep pushing no matter what. That quiet strength I had buried for years was suddenly awake again. I whispered under my breath, "You think I don't belong here? You're wrong." I stayed there for a while, thinking, breathing, remembering every struggle that had brought me to this moment. I realized something important. She could mock me, she could hide me, but she couldn't erase me. I was his mother. No matter how rich or beautiful she thought she was, I was the woman who made that man who he was today. Without me, there would be no wedding, no celebration, no groom standing proudly at that altar. As I was thinking, I noticed a man in a black shirt walking past. He was one of the event coordinators, holding a walkie-talkie. My eyes followed him, and then suddenly, something clicked in my mind. I knew that face. I had seen him years ago when I used to work as a cleaner in that same event center. His name was Uche. He used to call me Auntie Ada back then. I straightened up and called softly, "Uche." He tamed, squinting his eyes to see me properly. "Auntie Ada, is that you?" I smiled faintly. "Yes, my son. Long time." He laughed. You're looking good, oh. What are you doing here?" I swallowed, steadying my voice. "It's my son's wedding." His eyes widened. "For real? Congratulations." I nodded but didn't smile. "Uche, I need your help." He looked surprised. "My help? What happened?" I glanced around, making sure no one was watching. "Do you still manage the sound and lights here?" He nodded slowly. "Yes. Why?" I took a deep breath. "If I need to speak to the guests before the reception begins, can you give me the microphone for a minute?" He frowned. "You mean make a speech? You should talk to the MC." I interrupted gently. "No, not a speech. Just a few words. You know me, Uche. I'm not trying to cause trouble. I just need to be heard." He studied my face for a while. Maybe he saw the hurt behind my eyes, or maybe he remembered the times I brought him food when he worked late nights cleaning the hall. After a long silence, he nodded. "All right, Auntie Ada. I'll help you. Just tell me when." I smiled weakly, feeling tears threaten to fall again. "Thank you, my son. When the vows are done." He nodded and walked off quickly. I stood there, my mind racing but my heart steady. I didn't fully know what I was going to say, but I knew it had to be said. For years, I taught my son to stand for what was right, to never let anyone treat others like dirt. Now it was my turn to remind him where he came from. I looked toward the hall again. Through the window, I could see Chaik slipping a ring onto Nketch's finger. The guests cheered, and the flash of cameras lit the room. My chest tightened. "You don't belong here." Her voice echoed in my head again, but this time, it didn't hurt. It fueled me. As the ceremony neared its end, I straightened my lace and adjusted my scarf. My reflection in the glass showed a different woman now, one who had finally remembered her worth. I wasn't just Chaik's mother. I was the woman who survived storms so he could stand under clear skies. I whispered softly, "Let the wedding begin, but not end." And with that, I took one last deep breath and turned away from the window, already planning the moment I would step forward. She might have the gown and the gold, but I had something she didn't: truth. And before the day was over, everyone inside that hall would hear it. The pastor's voice echoed through the loudspeakers, blessing the union of Chaik and Nketchi, and the crowd cheered as they held hands at the altar. I stood quietly near the side entrance, half hidden behind a pillar, watching everything unfold. My heart was beating fast, but not from fear anymore. I felt calm, almost too calm, like the stillness before a storm. I had been quiet all morning, humiliated, insulted, pushed aside, but I wasn't going to leave that place in shame. I wasn't going to let that girl write me out of my own son's story. Not after everything I had done to bring him this far. I saw Uche at the back near the sound table. He caught my eye and nodded slightly. That was the signal. The guests were clapping now, people standing to take photos, phones flashing from every angle. The pastor said something about blessings, then gestured toward the crowd. "If anyone has a reason these two should not be joined in holy matrimony, speak now or forever hold your peace." Everyone laughed, thinking no one would speak. But that was when I stepped out from behind the pillar. I could hear my heartbeat as I walked. My heels clicked softly against the tiled floor, and slowly, heads began to turn. The laughter died. One by one, the guests stopped clapping. I walked down the aisle, straight-backed, eyes steady on the altar. Nkechi froze. I saw her hand tighten around my son's. Chaik's face went pale. "Mama," he whispered. Uche, from the sound table, pressed a button and handed me the microphone. My voice echoed through the hall, trembling slightly at first but growing stronger with every word. "Before you continue," I said, "I need to correct something." The hall went completely silent. I looked around, seeing faces that once looked down on me now filled with confusion. I turned to the pastor. "Sir, forgive me for interrupting, but I was told today that I don't belong here." A soft murmur swept through the guests. Nkechi's face turned red, but I didn't stop. "I was told by this young woman, my son's bride, that I am not worthy to sit with family, not worthy to witness my own son's joy. I came here to celebrate, but I was kept outside like a stranger." Chaik turned to her in shock. "Nkechi, what is she saying?" But she didn't answer. She just stared at me, her lips trembling. I took another step forward, my voice steady. "You see, when you've lived long enough, you stop letting pride hide the truth. That woman standing beside you," I pointed at her gently, "mocked me for being poor. She said I didn't fit her kind of wedding. But what she doesn't know is that this place she stands in, this beautiful hall where she planned her perfect image, belongs partly to me." A gasp rippled through the audience. Cameras stopped flashing. Even the pastor looked stunned. I turned to face the crowd fully. Yes, years ago, when this event center was just an idea, I worked here as a cleaner. Every night I stayed late, scrubbing floors, saving every little coin from my pay. The owner started a small cooperative society for staff. I joined. I put in my money month after month, while others dropped out. And when the business grew, the cooperative gave us shares. I never told anyone because I didn't think it mattered. But it matters now. I paused, looking at Nkechi. "So when you told me I don't belong here, you were standing on the floor I helped build. You were smiling in the lights I helped pay for. You were celebrating in a place that, in part, belongs to the very woman you tried to humiliate." The room exploded into whispers. Some guests turned in their seats. Others covered their mouths in shock. Nkechi's bridesmaids exchanged nervous glances. I saw her father's face tighten with embarrassment. Chaik was frozen, his eyes darting between me and her, his lips parted in disbelief. "Mama," he said finally, stepping forward. I didn't know." I looked at him softly. "You didn't ask, my son. You forgot where you came from." The microphone felt lighter in my hand now. I looked back at the guests, then at the pastor. "I'm sorry, sir. I won't take much of your time. I just want to make it clear that I belong here, not because of ownership or money, but because no one can erase a mother's place in her child's life. Not wealth, not pride, not a wedding gown." I turned toward the audience again, my voice firm. "I may not wear gold or diamonds. I may not know how to speak fancy English, but I carried that boy for 9 months. I fed him when there was no food. I stayed up when he had fever. I worked 3 jobs to make him a man. So when you tell me I don't belong, you insult motherhood itself." The crowd was completely silent. Some older women in the back nodded slowly, their eyes glistening. I saw Uche watching from behind, his mouth slightly open. Then I took a deep breath and said quietly, "Now, as part owner of this hall, I hereby cancel this booking. The wedding is over." Gasps filled the air. Nkechi's father stood abruptly. "You can't do that," he barked. I looked him in the eye. "I already have. Check the papers. My name is there. Eduoro Keke, 40% shareholding." The event manager, Uche's supervisor, walked up awkwardly, holding a clipboard. "It's true, sir," he said nervously. "She's on the records." The hall went wild. People stood up, whispering, recording. Nkechi's face turned ghostly pale. Chaik tried to speak, but I raised my hand. No, my son, let me finish. I am not doing this out of bitterness. I'm doing it to remind you both what humility means. If you can't respect the woman who gave you life, how will you respect the vows you're about to make? The pastor looked down, speechless. Nkechi tried to force a laugh, but her voice cracked. Mama, please, you're embarrassing us. I smiled sadly. No, my dear, you embarrassed yourself when you forgot your manners. I'm only showing you the mirror. Then I turned to the guests, my voice softer now. I didn't come here to ruin my son's day. I came to bless it, but no blessing can stand on pride and insult. So if this wedding must happen, it must start with respect. I handed the microphone back to Uche and started walking toward the door. Everyone moved aside as I passed. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I just walked quietly, the sound of my footsteps echoing through the silence. As I reached the door, I looked back once. Chaik was standing still, staring at me with tears in his eyes. Nkechi was clutching her bouquet, shaking, her makeup beginning to run. I said gently, when you're ready to build a home with truth, not show, you'll find me. Then I walked out into the sunlight. Outside, the breeze hit my face, and for the first time all day, I could breathe. The noise inside grew faint behind me. I didn't know what would happen next, whether the wedding would continue or end, but it didn't matter. For once, I had spoken for myself. I had taken back my dignity. As I reached the gate, I heard someone call my name. It was Uche, running after me, smiling with disbelief. Auntie Ada, that was powerful. You shook that hall. I smiled faintly. Sometimes, my son, you don't need anger to make people listen. You just need truth. And with that, I walked away slowly, my lace brushing against my ankles, my heart finally at peace. 3 days passed after the wedding that never was, and the whole town was still talking about it. Everywhere I went, people whispered, some with pity, some with admiration. That woman has courage, I heard one trader say in the market. Another replied, courage? I call it madness. Imagine stopping your own son's wedding. I didn't respond. I just kept arranging the fabrics on my stall, pretending not to hear. Deep down, I wasn't proud of what happened, but I also didn't regret it. Sometimes, silence only teaches people to keep disrespecting you. I had been silent my whole life, and look where it got me, standing outside my own son's wedding like an intruder. No, I had done what needed to be done. Still, that night, I sat alone in my small house, staring at the wall where Chaik's childhood photos hung. The smile on his little face, the missing front tooth, the way he used to hold my wrapper when strangers tried to talk to him, all of it came rushing back. I wiped my eyes and whispered, "Did I lose you for good, my son?" The quiet was heavy. The house felt too empty, too still. I wanted to hear his voice, even if it was angry. On the 4th day, I was sewing a customer's dress when I heard a knock on the door. I thought it was a neighbor, but when I opened it, there he was, Chaik. My breath caught in my throat. He looked tired, his eyes swollen, his shirt wrinkled as if he hadn't slept properly in days. He didn't say anything for a moment. He just stood there, looking at me, shame all over his face. I stepped aside silently, and he walked in. He sat on the chair near the window, elbows on his knees, hands covering his face. For a while, there was only silence between us. Then he spoke, his voice low. "Mama, you embarrass me." My heart sank, but I didn't interrupt. He lifted his head, his eyes glistening. "But you were right." I felt my lips tremble. "My son." He shook his head. "No, let me talk. I was blind. I thought marrying into money would make life easier. Nkechi made me feel like I needed to change who I was to be successful. I thought if I gave her everything she wanted, she'd love me more. But after that day, after what you said, she showed her true self. She said terrible things about you, even after you left. When I told her to apologize, she said she didn't marry me to bow to my mother. He rubbed his face, his voice breaking. I ended it that night. Her family threatened to sue for embarrassment, but I told them to go ahead. They don't know who they were dealing with. Tears filled my eyes, but I swallowed hard, trying not to cry. My son, I never wanted to shame you. I only wanted to remind you of where you came from. You forgot that respect is the root of every home. No matter how high a man climbs, he must never forget the ladder that lifted him. He nodded slowly, staring at the floor. I know that now. I was proud, Mama. I thought money made me wiser, but it made me foolish. Nkechi didn't love me. She loved what I could become. I reached out and touched his shoulder gently. You are wiser now, my son. Pain teaches better than words. He looked up, and for the first time since the wedding, he smiled faintly. We sat quietly for a while, the kind of silence that speaks louder than any conversation. Then he said softly, People are talking, Mama. They are saying you own the hall. Is it true? I smiled a little. Yes, not all of it, but enough. When I was working there years ago, I joined their savings group. We were told it might turn into shares one day. I never thought it would, but God works in quiet ways. Maybe he was preparing me for that day. Chaik exhaled slowly, shaking his head. I can't believe it. I married a woman for her family's wealth, not knowing my own mother was wealthier in silence. I laughed softly. Wealth isn't just about money, my son. It's about peace. Nkechi's family has riches but no peace. I have little, but I sleep with a clear heart. That's the difference. He nodded again, then fell quiet. I could see guilt still weighing on him. Mama, he said finally, I failed you. I let her disrespect you right in front of me, and I said nothing. I'll never forgive myself for that. I reached for his hand and squeezed it gently. You've already made it right by coming home. That's all a mother wants, not riches, not titles, just her child's heart. He nodded, his eyes moist again. What if she sues you, Mama? Her father was shouting about it that day. I smiled faintly. Let them. The papers are clear. My name is there. Even if they try, the truth will protect itself. He looked at me for a long moment, then said quietly, I don't deserve you. I shook my head. No, my son, you just forgot for a while. The world will make a man forget his roots if he's not careful. But now, you remember. That's enough. He stood up and walked to the photo wall, touching one of the old pictures. You never told me how much you sacrificed for me. I smiled gently. Mothers don't count sacrifices. We count blessings. You were mine. We talked for hours that evening, about his childhood, about his job, about the kind of woman he wanted to marry next time. This time, he said he wanted someone who loved simplicity, someone who could sit with me in this small house and laugh over roasted corn. When he said that, my heart warmed in a way I hadn't felt in years. As he got up to leave, he hugged me tightly. It wasn't the quick, distracted hug he used to give. This one lingered. I love you, Mama, he whispered. I love you too, my son, I said, my voice thick with emotion. After he left, I stood by the door for a while, watching the fading sunlight. The quiet didn't feel empty anymore. It felt peaceful. I smiled and whispered, Thank you, God. My son has come home. Days later, I heard that Nkechi's family tried to take the matter to court, but they were shocked when the ownership documents confirmed my name. They eventually backed down quietly. People in town said the story taught others a lesson, not to look down on anyone, no matter how humble they appear. One evening, as I locked my shop, a young woman approached me shyly. Mama Aurora, she said. I was at that wedding. You gave me courage. I've been letting my husband's family treat me badly, but after hearing you that day, I decided to speak up. I smiled at her and said, Speak up, Yes, but always with dignity. Don't fight with bitterness. Let your truth stand tall and calm. That's the kind that shakes the world. When she walked away, I looked up at the sky. The sunset painted it orange and gold, and I felt a deep peace inside me. Life had tested me, but I hadn't broken. I had simply remembered my worth. Later that night, as I lay on my bed, I whispered the same words that had carried me through the hardest days of my life. A mother's worth isn't decided by her dress, but by her scars. I smiled in the dark and closed my eyes, grateful, not because I had stopped a wedding, but because I had restored something bigger, my dignity, my son's heart, and the truth that no one can ever erase where love began.